And I'm continuing my series on how to fight Menat with Zangief. This is 2.3. This special attack is called the Soul Sphere Ankh. Okay, so I'll explain that. So, Soul Sphere Ankh is the return phase of the Soul Sphere special attack. So, you know, the orb is out there right now. So if I do the Soul Sphere Ankh, which is done the same way as the Soul Sphere itself, if I do that, the crystal ball will return to her hand. But the difference between the Ankh and the three different levels of punch buttons that you can use for the Soul Sphere itself, the difference is any punch button can be used to return the orb to her, or to do the Ankh version of the Soul Sphere. All it is the return of the crystal ball to Menat's hands after doing one of the three levels of Soul Sphere, one of the normal Soul Sphere abilities. So either the light punch or medium punch or hard punch. So in this case, the ball is horizontal here. That's because she did the medium Soul Sphere variation of the special attack, and now we can use any punch button to return the Soul Sphere Ankh. So for example, I have it recorded in slot 1 for the light punch button, and that's going to work. So we can use any level. See, now that's the Soul Sphere light punch. If she does it a second time, it returns it to her hand. So it doesn't matter which button power level of the move that we do, light power, medium power, or hard punch level of power. That's just going to affect the initial move. But as far as the Ankh variation, which pulls the orb back in, it doesn't matter which punch button you use, is all I'm saying. In fact, just show you that here. If you go to command list and hit square, so I know we're playing Zangief. Go to Menat, if I can never get there, we go. You can see right here, the Soul Sphere is a quarter circle forward with any punch button. I've been through the 3 different videos with the 3 different punch buttons. You guys can check that out on my YouTube channel, which is cool because I discuss how each one takes a different plane of motion and how to deal with that. Here we have the Ankh. The Ankh can be any punch button, so it comes after the Soul Sphere. It's a return the crystal ball to her hand Soul Sphere. So it's always after the Soul Sphere. So whatever Soul Sphere level of power she throws out, the Soul Sphere will return the orb to her hand. It doesn't matter whether it's a light punch, medium punch, or hard punch that she chooses to use. As long as she presses the input for the Soul Sphere, she'll get the Ankh. As long as the orb is already out there on the middle of the screen, she at that point is going to be, her next Soul Sphere attack will be the Ankh variation by default. There's a Soul Sphere exertion or output, and then there's the withdrawal. There's the throwing out of the orb, and then there's a retracting of the orb. The Ankh version is the retracting version. Okay, so we can get hit by that though, right? We can get hit from behind. So what I would recommend is let her throw it out. Okay, that she's going to do Soul Sphere Ankh, and that's going to pull the orb back in towards herself, and it's going to hit me along the way. There's not much in the way of frame data. However, there is advantage on. There's no startups, but there is advantage. She holds the advantage on block or on hit, and she gets a huge advantage. Okay, here's the numbers. If we block the Soul Sphere Ankh, she gets +3 frames of advantage. If she hits us, she gains 14 frames of advantage. That's huge. If we get hit by that, we're in trouble. So we want to be careful not to get hit by this Ankh version, because it's actually more beneficial than even her hard punch. I forgot to mention her advantage on hit. Just throw this out there, the Soul Sphere attacks, light punch, medium punch, hard punch. She does gain advantage on hit, but she only gains a little bit of advantage. The best one is a hard punch, where she gains 4 frames of advantage if she hits us, okay? That's only if she hits us. With the Ankh portion, this is where she gains. This is a really good phase of the special attack for her. The Soul Sphere, the best part of that is the Ankh version, the retraction version, because that's where she gets the most bang for her buck. She gets +3 on block. Well, that's good because for her. So we wanna be careful here with this. If we get hit by this, we don't want to be close to her and get hit by it. So if we're near her, let's be hitting her so that the move will get grayed out. As I explained in the last video, if you hit her while she's doing it, let her throw it out. If you hit her while she's doing it, the orb turns gray. It becomes dulled out. Not gray, but dull. You know what I'm saying? It becomes dulled out. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work on us anymore. So we have the advantage. And then her Soul Sphere Ankh, will become useless. Becomes useless. So we actually stop the Ankh portion as long as we can hit her. And you notice it's sensitive to when we actually hit her. Watch this again. Okay. It stayed lit up. Now watch. If I hit her just before she does it, the orb turns gray. As soon as I hit her, the orb loses its power. The Ankh fails. The Ankh fails as soon as I hit her. Soul Sphere Ankh becomes nullified if I hit her before the ball returns to her hand. So that's the best way around that one, guys, is if you're close enough, hit her. And if you're far enough away, where even if you get blocked and she gets, 3 frames of advantage on block, that's okay, because we're far enough away out here that we're not going to really get hit. This is assuming she's doing the medium punch version initially. Because remember, this is an important part of the Ankh. The Ankh will return on the plane of motion that it was sent out. The ball will return on the plane of motion that it was sent out at. So while you can press any button to perform the Ankh retraction phase of the crystal ball Soul Sphere attack, while the Ankh you can press any punch button you want to initiate it, that may be true. But the position of the crystal ball is where it's going to return. The position it was thrown out to, or I should say the plane of motion that was used, is exactly the same plane of motion the ball will return on. So if she does it, in this case with the medium punch, that's a ball is on. So that's what is going to return to her hand on. It's not going to drop to the bottom of the screen and go up at an angle from a low punch position when she threw it out at a medium punch. So it's always going to return the same way it came. That tells us something too about how to deal with this attack. We know if she throws it in the medium range, we know the plane of motion it's going to take. We know if she throws it out on the medium plane of motion, then we know it's going to be horizontal. If she throws it out high, hard punch, and it goes up at an angle, that's almost a diagonal, we know it's going to return in that position. So we know that we're going to have to duck initially, assuming we knew she was doing it. And then if we don't know she's doing it and we're looking at dealing with the Ankh variation of the move, then we want to hit her before it hits us, right now. See, and it nullifies her attack. And we don't have to block it. We don't have to worry about it. We can just stand there after we hit her. During the Ankh phase, we can just wait, and we're fine. I wouldn't do that. I would attack her, of course. But I'm just saying, it's hitting her during that phase that nullifies the attack, and that's all that matters. And then again, the second thing is it will return to her on the same plane of motion that it was sent out at. So that's really the takeaway. Yeah, that's really the takeaway for this one, guys. That's it for the Ankh. Again, she has advantage on block and advantage on hit, especially on hit. So really be careful, because if we're this close to her and we get hit by the Ankh, she's gonna have plus. That means she can do whatever she wants to us, pretty much. Okay, we don't want to give her that much leeway. So we want to make sure if you're this close, a simple nudge of of his quickest attacks, a simple crouching light kick or a crouching light punch or a standing light punch. Those are his faster moves. Crouching light kick and crouching light punch are two of his fastest startup moves. All we gotta do is hit her, and that's it. She is going to nullify the Soul Sphere Ankh, and we're not going to take any damage. Alright guys, well I hope that helps. Also, lastly, I would say that the Soul Sphere Ankh, when it does hit us, it knocks us forward a little bit. And by doing that, it puts us in a position for her to combo us. So just be aware, if in worst case scenario, at least block it. Because she's only going to gain 3 frames. That doesn't give her as much grace as it does when she hits us, and her advantage on hit is 14 frames. So you just don't really want to get hit by that Ankh, guys. No matter what plane of motion that Ankh is on, it's going to have the same frame advantage for Menat. Okay? So just be aware of that. And again, if you hit her, you can nullify the Ankh portion. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Have a great day. Take care.